And as far as sister teams go, some of them are very different from each other. We look at Najin Sword and Najin Shield, very different teams.
Yeah.
We look at Blaze and Frost, more similar. But we look at KT Arrows and Bullets, and they're like nearly identical, actually.
Okay, so there's that Lulu first pick. Even with some of the recent nerfs, still a little bit to Lulu, a little bit to things like Lichbane, still a very high priority pick, and so Ambition's going to presumably take that one. We'll see what the KT Arrows pick up. You know, we also saw CJ hovering over Aurelia, which is a champion that Flame was good on a while ago. We're talking like a year and a half plus ago.
And of course, Shy brought out Aurelia last week.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
So
okay, Orianna.
That is
fresh.
a very early Orianna pickup. Now, the interesting thing here is rookies comfort champions this season have been Italy, LeBlanc, Lulu, and Yasuo. So bringing those out, and there is Flame on Jax.
I'm really liking CJ's comp so far. Those are like 3 super high priority picks right now. Someday's going to get his Renekton pick, but man, Lulu, Lee Sin, and Jax all in one team, that is terrifying.
Honestly, Cacao, probably, he seems to prefer Elise at this stage.
Yeah.
And they do have the Orianna Elise combo, which adds some good damage and crowd control, as well as a way to get the ball into the middle of a team fight. Renekton, they need some good engage, though. They have a little bit of a pick composition going so far, but it's very strange they're saving their AD carry for last. Now, we don't see that Draven. This is where we may see Arrow play Draven.
I was kind of wondering. I was just about to ask that, actually, especially with the Jax as a top laner on the other side. I mean, Draven seems like it'd be a great pickup with his mechanics. He can handle it.
Emperor.
And Jinx, yeah, no big surprise. Emperor has been enjoying that pick lately.
Of course, both CJ teams, big Jinx teams, but Emperor hasn't played it in a little bit. Of course, Space has been playing it constantly.
Now, this has got to be a Draven pick.
It's a little.
I hope so.
It's a little bit dangerous because the all-inness of Leona and Jinx would be a little bit risky. Arrow, not known as a Lucian player, would be a bit of a surprise to see him pick it up.
Yeah, well, Vayne may be a little bit surprising as well. I mean, you can knock away a Jax with that, and you got to think Jax is a big part of the primary concern for that AD carry pick right now, not to mention Lee Sin coming in as well. Being able to condemn people would help out quite a bit. Really pick it.
They really need some late game damage. I don't think Vayne is a bad pickup right here.
That too, yeah. That would make sense.
They may have kind of backed themselves into a corner here, though. Now they're going to switch it over for Lucian.
Are they really? Oh, Draven.
Yes!
Yeah, nice. That's what I like to see. I was hoping we would get to see Arrows Draven. Now, CJ Blaze, you know they're ready for this. They prepared for this eventuality, but can they handle it? Not many people can handle Arrows Draven.
They can't. That's why he has such a high Draven ban rate in the Arrows games. And we haven't seen it since the beginning of the season, but when people forget to ban it, he normally does very well. Now, I think that this is a good pickup just because the KT Arrows style has been highly dependent on very aggressive individual outplay recently with the Twitch, and Draven will add that same dimension and strategy to the team, as well as being a major lane bully. Now, this could really be an apocalyptic duo lane if we end up in a 2v2, just because there's not a lot of mobility or escapability for any of these champions in that lane, especially until they hit Thresh hits 6 and he's able to disengage with the box. But that is, it could snowball out of control very quickly from the bottom lane.
Well, we'll see what they decide to do. You know, will it be the 2v1 or will it be the 2v2? I'm really curious to see how this mid lane ends up.
Well, I think if you're the KT Arrows, you definitely want the 1v1 and the 2v2 this game because you've got the Renekton to bully the Jax, and you're very confident in Arrows 2v2ing with Draven, which you should be because he frequently picks up kills.
Well, teleports on both top laners as well, too, so it's something to consider. And we do actually have that exhaust for Thresh as well, so saving that one for the Jax when he comes in. Smart move. It's going to make it tough for Flame to make it work, but here we go, guys. It's time. Game number 1 at best of 5 to decide who goes to the Champion Spring semifinals. Will it be CJ Blaze? Will it be the KT Arrows? It's time to get this Rift Group C Set 1. CJ Blaze versus the KT Arrows here on Champion Spring. Thanks for watching. I really hope you guys are enjoying the Twitch emotes. I had so much fun making those. I'm so happy they're finally up.
You really did a good job, though.
Thank you. It's fun.
Okay, well, full ward start here early on, and they're going to get caught out with a ward as well. Full ward start for Lustboy, that is, so looking for that 2v1. They're going to get seen as they wrap around into the red buff. Of course, both teams have vision of each other, but
now a full ward start for Lustboy, but Achani going for the Relic Shield this time around.
All right, they get the deep ward. They're looking for the possibility of that 2v2 or 2v1 so they can dodge it at the moment. Confident in Flame's ability to freeze the lane afterwards with Jax, so we'll see how they respond.
Yep.
Actually, Lustboy and Emperor heading up into the top lane, and
well, we are going to have that 2v2, but it's going to be in the top lane.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, this will be a little bit difficult for Lustboy and Emperor. They are down a support item. Thresh, of course, has that Relic Shield, and for a little bit of the extra tankiness, Achani also going for that Runic Affinity Mastery. We do see that quite a bit these days. That's a risky, risky red buff, by the way. Ooh, yeah, that's super dangerous. They could have been caught in a very unfortunate situation. But look at this, Emperor and Lustboy, seeing them pass that ward between the inhibitor and the tier 2 turret will immediately rotate into the bottom lane.
Yep, that's right. We'll see if they pick up the mini golems on the way. Nope, just trying to get the lane as fast as possible for that 2v1.
It's actually a clever ward right there.
Yeah, they actually were able to spot them going through. Wow.
Okay, well, KT Aero's not going to get a chance to be that big lane bully, but the danger is still there, and the problem is that Draven is going to catch a lot more axes and get more CS when he's in that solo lane, so his passive becomes even more threatening in these situations. Yeah, he may not kill you early, but he's able just to stack up Adoration, and then if he gets a kill after that, the payday is pretty enormous.
Yeah.
Someday also given a really good opportunity to solo lane right here, so he's already going to have a little XP and gold advantage because he wasn't bullied out early on. Flame comes into lane. He's got to be...
Well, they really need Flame to have a good game. And I mean, you and I were talking about this when we were discussing the match before where, you know, CJ Blaze, no stranger to letting that turret go down and letting Flame just kind of sit behind the tier 1 and farm after they lose it. So if you're Blaze, I don't think you're too worried about this. Flame will have his chance to farm probably, but we'll see if he can then use that to get kills later on because Arrow, you know, there's not a lot of AD carriers out there that would be not too worried about Jax coming in, but Draven played by Arrow I think is definitely going to be one of those.
Yeah, it might be just a little bit tough right there.
Yeah. Oh, Someday taking some damage. They almost caught him with the Flame Choppers, but he got to slice and dice his way out.
So the jungle start has been a bit weird, and we're not seeing that 4v0 just because of the early rotations that came in as they looked for the proper lane to be in. So it did the jungle pathing got a little odd this time around, and Cacao just going to go ahead and clear out his red buff right now before he starts looking for a gank. Flame picking a very good time to recall.
Feels more like a classic 2v1 right now, you know?
Well, they saw Cacao heading over by his Wraiths with that ward right there, so Flame's recall timing is pretty solid. Ambition getting chunked out of lane early by Rookie.
Yeah, I mean, Ambition does have a tiny little CS lead right now, but Rookie's going to be able to capitalize on that. And, of course, getting that burst done. You don't want to mess with Rookie one-on-one. He is, people call him Faker Jr.
That's right. Mechanics pretty noteworthy, and
oh, there's a teleport. Yep, why not?
Teleport's used by both top laners, so Someday knew that Flame used his, so it was okay for him to go ahead and mirror just for that experience, but now Flame does get zoned out. They're just going after the minion wave right here, holding it at bay, and Lee Sin just going ahead and clearing out his own jungle at the moment. Daydream seemingly unconcerned about losing this tower race.
Or taking the other one in bot for CJ for that matter. All right, well, again, you know, it's like we just said. They're not too worried about letting Flame just kind of sit there and farm with the lane pushed up. But the question is, how far will KT Arrows push this lane now? It's a little bit weird, but I don't know. Do you think they're going to try to go all the way through the tier 2? It looks like they want to.
I mean,
unless they just push
it doesn't have that same damage reduction that the outer turret has. So
they grab Flame. Can they do some damage to him? A little bit. Not a lot yet.
They've decided to hold right here.
Okay.
Someday just playing back his turret with that HP advantage. Rookie continually getting a lot of... You got to be careful taking those Orianna autos because they really ramp up due to her passive.
Yeah, I don't know, just standing there and just kind of taking it. Ambition really playing this one maybe a little bit overly boldly. There's a flay, and they get the flash out of Achani. Cacao gets jumped on. Oh, he gets out on the Dark Passage, though. A close call. That was nearly first blood for CJ, and yeah, they need to back off after that one.
Well, but this does leave Someday in a really good position to defend his tower.
Yes, it does.
And the wave is pushing back out, so Flame is really not going to have a lot of opportunity to freeze this one. They've actually successfully broken that one down. Someday up, doubling the CS of Flame so far.
Yeah, you don't see that happen to Flame too often, I gotta say.
We'll see how it works out as the game moves forward. Of course, Someday from this point on may have a little bit of a harder time CSing in general. Yep. Interestingly, we do not see Arrow recalling quite yet. He's just been sitting in the brush in the top lane, waiting very patiently.
Yeah, that's a bit odd. Now finally moving back in the lane for the moment. Rookie coming back to his lane. He's already got that Chalice and Ability Tome. So compared to the 2 rings of Ambition, Ambition's going to need to be really careful in that mid lane.
They've got eyes on Cacao. Good deep wards coming in from Blaze.
Look at all the damage, and there's the all-in. He goes for the level 6. Can he get the flash out of Ambition? Not quite. Yeah, it looks like Rookie will be able to push him out of lane yet again, but Ambition has managed to farm up at this point, but it's getting scarier and scarier as time goes on.
Yeah, Draven's still sitting up there, hasn't gone back to recall. Actually, Arrow should have gone back to buy at this point. He's wasted a lot of time.
Well, and it looks like KT Arrows are going to be able to take the Dragon in the meantime, at least, though.
Not a lot of early gold or XP for a 7-minute Dragon, but still a good takeaway if you've got it for free. If you know that Emperor and Lustboy have recalled at this point, and might as well just go ahead and grab it. Good pink ward timing right there.
Well, I think it does a good job of capitalizing on the fact that they're up a turret as well, too. So it is that little extra boost of gold on top of that.
Yeah, interestingly, Arrow is not that far behind in terms of CS, but despite the long waiting game, we now see Someday making a move up into top lane as Flame pushes forward. Flame and Someday both level 6. Flame does have an item advantage, though. He's got a leap strike out of there.
Yeah, that was
see Someday coming up
dangerous.
Immediately. Gets out of dodge. Rookie will be past the blue buff.
Okay. And Arrow now going back, and everybody loves it.
This guy, he's starting to get some...
He may have a bit of a dive here, but Cacao is there. Trying to stop it. Lustboy and Emperor poking away at that tier 1 turret. Yep, now Cacao shows up. So no dive from Daydream. But they will get the turret. And that ties it up in gold and in turrets.
I think the KT Arrows definitely could have played this out a little bit better. I think that the call to have Arrow wait around for that wave in the top lane really didn't do much for them, and Someday could have been there to catch it anyway. They could have just coordinated Someday and Cacao up in the top lane and sent Draven bottom so they wouldn't have lost that turret. So KT Arrows, maybe a little bit sloppy right there.
Yeah, I mean, again, we're wondering, which KT Arrows is it? Is it the super good KT Arrows, or is it the pretty good KT Arrows? And it's going to need to be the extremely good version of the KT Arrows to make it to the semifinals. Yeah,
Blaze is just so consistent. I would say that when they came out at the beginning of the season, I would say that I think Blaze was more powerful then than they are right now. I feel like they've fallen back into a lot of their old bad habits.
Yeah, that's a really good way to describe it,
waiting into the late game, where there was a glimmer of hope with Daydream earlier in the season, where they really look to be clicking and playing a much more fast-paced game, less farm-oriented, more able to take advantage of small timing windows to take out turrets. And that's what really, I mean, that's what we all thought Daydream was going to do for this team. They get a super aggressive jungler, and it was kind of that missing piece on paper that it looked like Blaze really needed. But well, they've shown, like, they've teased us with these moments, but Blaze, they haven't really been able to get their a fast-paced early game very consistently. Daydream now coming in with Lustboy.
Blaze is basically like the Borg man, and Daydream has been assimilated. That's it for him.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, Blaze still a cream of the crop team here in Korea, but that's always been their weakness, and they haven't really been on top since last Champion Spring, is their predictability.
We always call them the one-trick warhorse, and the one-trick thing obviously isn't the most isn't the most desired quality to have in a team, but they are a warhorse. They do win a lot. They're very, very good at what they do, and there is, that sort of phrase that says if it's not broke, don't fix it. And hey, if it's working, if it's getting you to the playoffs, might as well.
The way I feel about Blaze, though, is just with their current play style as we look for Kakao and Achani to come here for the gank. We'll get to it in a minute. Emperor in a dangerous position.
Yeah, we'll see if they go for
Good read by Daydream and Lustboy, though.
Yes.
They had wards in the river, so they're aware that this is a possibility.
Yep. Now, it's interesting because a year ago, we saw CJ Blaze playing much the same and then having that strategy taken advantage of by Ozone, way back when they were MVP Ozone. So if Blaze manages to make it farther in the tournament, you can bet that the next team that plays him is going to be thinking about that. And you have to think that KT is thinking about it today as well.
Of course, and that's the thing about Blaze is that they're always a top team, but will they ever be the best team again if they don't have any more variation to their strategy? And for me, as Ambition comes on a roam here, Someday may be in a bit of trouble.
Well, Someday
Cutlass
looks like
is down though for Flame, so I think he'll be all right.
Well, Someday's playing it nice and safe as well, and he knows he's got Rookie coming up too, so he'll be okay. That turret though taking a lot of damage. Oh, there's a slow from Glitterlance. That's a lot of damage onto Someday, man. Command Protect coming in, but a really close call. Whoa, first blood. Goes to Ambition, though, manages to finally take down Someday. Meanwhile, Kakao in a lot of trouble, repels away. Can he make it? Tries to get out with the flash, but can they do it? Arrow throws down his ultimate. Not a lot of damage on the members of CJ Blaze in that bot lane. Arrow gets slowed. There's a great solar flare from Lustboy, and Flame comes in with the teleport for some damage on Kakao, and the kill. Hachani tries to get away. He can't make it. So 3 kills in the space of like less than 30 seconds for CJ Blaze. They blow this game wide open with a 2K gold lead.
Flame just had an incredible teleport play right there, and he took advantage of Someday's death timer where there wasn't any chance to respond. Now 1-0-2 with a slight CS lead, and Flame looking really good right here. Now, the arrows didn't read that properly. They tried to go for the dive in the bottom lane, but it was responded to by Daydream, and then just a very well-timed Lulu roam up and top right as the wave hit the turret, and Flame chose the right time to make a play. Notice that he used the blade very early on just to chunk him and make it very difficult to either stay alive or defend the turret. And there's
flash from Achani, tries to grab with the death set, it doesn't work, but now the teleport coming in from Someday. There's the Flame. They catch Flame with the cocoon as well. Can Flame make it out? No wards. He can't get away with the leaf strike, and there it is. Arrow gets a needed kill on Draven.
And that is huge.
Yeah, man.
He just cashed in 500 gold off of that, and that is where you don't want to be. He didn't die in that little skirmish, and he's already got 84 CS, and Lord knows how many spinning axe catches to get his adoration up. Now there's a little play right there.
Trying to make another play. Lustboy comes in. There's a rocket. Achani pops the box, but the solar flare is going to lock him up. An easy kill for Emperor, and Kakao on the run again. KT arrows starting to fall apart a little bit here. Kakao waiting in the brush. Here comes Arrow. Can they turn it around as Someday comes in from behind, gets kicked out. Lustboy trapped behind enemy lines. He goes down. Emperor and Daydream getting chased now. KT arrows need something out of this. Emperor flashes. Can they catch him? Kakao coming in. There's the cocoon. Emperor gets taken out by Kakao. They're going to dive now onto Daydream under bot turret. Someday taking those turret hits, and a double kill for Kakao. A bit of revenge. The gold is even, and so will the turrets be. Wow, KT coming right back. Oh, the shockwave brings in Ambition. We're not done yet with this team fight, I guess. Oh, maybe we are now. Okay.
Yeah, they're not going to pursue. They just want to go for the dragon. It came up about 45 seconds ago. That's what everybody was there fighting for. But Hachani, we talked about this. Sometimes he gets caught out warding, and that was just another example of that. But luckily for the KT Arrows, they are able to turn it around and get something a little bit even out of that. That
lead that the CJ Blaze players had for just a moment is now gone. Just like that.
Let's take a look at that again.
Check out that replay,
Chani just gets a little bit caught out right here. Now, they should have just turned around. Dragon at this point is live, so there's really no point to continuing this chase, especially because Daydream just recalled to get his BT. Someday gets in there, gets kicked out, but Lustboy's still there, and actually uses the kick and then the slice onto Lustboy to get the dice further forward. Now, everybody just going to flash. You're not going to live through the situation. Someday with Dominus on, able to tank a lot of these tower hits, and of course, getting 1v1 by a Draven under the tower isn't going to work out very well for you. Kakao picks up the execute on his Q.
I got to say, Kakao's cocoons have been spectacular this game. They've been really good.
They're always good. Kakao is a very mechanically skilled jungler. It's rare for him to miss a skill shot.
Yep, very true. And he's certainly hitting him when he needs to this time. Slight goal lead, about 300. for Arrow at the moment, but that Draven, as he gets bigger, and he does have that pickaxe now, opted for the damage rather than a little bit of attack speed for the Berserker's Greave. So he's going to really be scary.
He wants to chunk with his autos with the spinning axes. Flame is a little far forward right here. There's the arrow. There's the lantern.
Oh, Solar Flare locks up people for just a moment, but Flame, can he get away? Dodges a cocoon. Cacao coming in. There's the wards, and Flame trying to get away. I don't know if he can make it, man. Solar Flare already used. No, that's a dead Flame, and Cacao claims another kill. I think that's his third.
Yeah.
Third or fourth this game. Turret, though, goes down in the favor of CJ Blaze.
You have to be so careful about letting this Jinx split push by herself because she is able just to burn through towers with that minigun. So we're still all locked up here. Ambition.
Brings in Ambition. Can he fish him off? There's Achani, the death sentence. Oh, barely doesn't connect with Ambition. They'll go after the turret, though. And Lustboy not able to defend it too much. Are there enough minions? Whoa, that Draven out nearly killed Ambition. They do get the turret. This game is insane, man. This is what I was kind of hoping for with today's match. Not gonna lie.
It's been very interesting so far, but you have to be very concerned about where Flame is. Yeah, he's died a couple times, but he's helped get a few kills. He has been farming more aggressively than he normally does deep in enemy territory. This is not what we're used to seeing from Flame, and it's caused a couple deaths for him, but he also is getting that CS.
Well, I think
that ramping Jax in the late game, very scary.
Well, the thing is, too, is, I mean, the more damage he can do to this Draven early on, and he hasn't been able to do that yet, but if he can make it happen, that's so important for him and for the rest of his team.
Yeah, but the Draven's still ahead, and in spite of the fact that the CS and kill count total is going in Emperor's favor, it's just that Draven passive that loads him up on gold, gets him a lot of those items early, and he's going to just be hitting like a truck with this last Whisper. Nobody has any armor yet to speak of on CJ Blaze.
Oh, man, they catch Emperor trying to get away. Cacao has to repel. Teleport coming in for Flame. There's a Dark Passage to bring in Cacao. They get a knockup with the Lulu ultimate. Solar Flare comes out. Flame over the wall with the kill onto Cacao. Ambition flashes forward for the Glitter Lance arrow. Nachani a bit trapped. Arrow tries to flash away. It looks like they'll make it. A good box from Achani. Oh, Death Sentence onto Ambition. Can Arrow chunk him enough? Not quite. Just a little bit of parting damage there.
That was such an impressive Lulu ult. The Wild
really
Growth knocked him out of the Dark Passage and actually caused that kill to occur. So Ambition with just a really heads-up play to get in the line of the Dark Passage and ult himself at precisely the right moment.
Well, Flame's been able to get in there at just the right moment with his teleport as well, too. That's the second time that he's been able to make something good happen out of that. And again, it's still an extremely even game. Gold nearly dead even, kills dead even, turrets dead even. This is only game one.
Now Blaze, I mean, we're not used to seeing Flame teleport this early. Typically when I've seen Flame play teleport champions, he just won't do it until he's got the items he wants to. It's very unusual to see him use a couple ports this early on to help out with team fights and picks. This is a bit of a change in his play style that frankly is quite refreshing to see.
Well, maybe this is starting to be a warhorse of a different color. Who knows?
Okay, well, just some ward clearing right now around the Baron pit. Warding has been good for both teams so far this game. They've had very good knowledge of where the enemy junglers are and where the particularly support rotations have been coming in.
Yeah, I think it's been a pretty good game from both sides, and the sloppiness that KT showed early on, the slight sloppiness has been made up for by pretty decent heads-up plays to get back in this game and make it even.
Yeah, I think that they did make a pretty tremendous mistake of letting Flame and Ambition really ride that big wave in the top lane, which also caused those kills at the bottom. But fortunately for the KT Arrows, CJ Blaze over-pursued that kill, and they got a turnaround with a teleport of their own. So
that's not something you see Blaze do a whole lot, is over-pursue. That's
they just want to farm usually.
Yeah. Out of all the teams and champions, that's not the first one I would mention. If I was thinking about teams that have a problem with chasing too far.
In fact, KT Arrows said CJ Frost would be at the top of that list.
Yeah, seriously. But CJ Blaze wanted to see what it felt like, and now they know.
Doesn't feel good, man.
Not so much.
A big lead here for Rookie. He's already got that death cap nice and finished. Ambition lagging a little bit behind.
That was my favorite emo band, is Death Cap for Rookie.
Death Cap for Rookie.
Yeah, I love that one in high school, man. When I was all angsty, you know.
I wish I could have met Angsty Doe.
Oh, well, Someday may be getting a little bit angsty as he loses half his health. Achani anticipates a grab. Hi, Rocket. Bye, Rocket.
Okay, well, they did get their top laner chunked out. Someday does have teleport. If he can get back in time is the question. Looks like the answer to that is going to be no, not for the Dragon.
The Dragon, here's the teleport coming in for Someday. Dragon is taken by CJ Blaze, and KT, are they going to chase? They're going to run right over the ball. Ambition is there. Solar Flare misses everybody. Ambition split off from the rest of the team, but it looks like KT won't be able to turn this into anything.
That was a really good Dragon play by Blaze.
Yeah, it was.
Just getting in, chunking Someday, immediately going onto the Dragon without any hesitation, and then dropping the Leona ult just to make sure that they could all get out safely.
The arrows look angry, man. They need to change their name to KT Angry because they are just barging down the mid lane, and they want either turrets or a kill. They want something out of it. There's a death sentence. Doesn't hit Ambition. Will they get this turret? It looks like they barely won't for now. Oh, and now they're a bit split up. This is kind of awkward.
They really...
they'll get it now. Okay. Yep.
They over-prioritized the blue buff right there. Instead of defending their mid lane tower, they moved up there thinking that perhaps the arrows would be trying to make a steal, but indeed, they just wanted that tier 2, and maybe the arrows can actually get 2 objectives off of this.
I don't know if they can. Maybe they can get Daydream too as they grab him with the death sentence. Comes in, there's the box. Wild Growth does something. Emperor manages to get the kill into Johnny. Lustboy gets a bit caught out. Someday, meanwhile, gets jumped on Flame, trying to claim a kill here. A spread out team fight, and Flame does get the kill into Cacao. Someday makes out with the Dominus, and Arrow finds himself a bit too far into the team fight, and he goes down. A double kill for Flame, and that Jax is starting to do what Jax does. Nearly a permaban these days in 4.5, and we're starting to see why in this game.
Not to mention, Ambition had incredibly good positioning in that team fight. Basically, he was using Lulu's Glitter Lance to zone out Draven in the corridor, and Draven, he was out of range of Draven's auto attacks, and the only champion he was in range to auto was a counter-striking Flame.
Yeah.
But look at Hachani right here. Interrupts the safeguard, and then follows through. Daydream flashes over the wall, bringing him with him, though, which is a good play. Another good zone by Lustboy on Rookie and Arrow. But watch Ambition. This is really the story of this fight right here. Ambition sees where the carries are. Now look at this. Goes ahead, zones him out. Arrow has no one to auto attack. No one at all, and he just gets chunked out immediately because Ambition was too far away, and he tried Flame. Flame was Counter-Strike, and then he was afraid of just getting hit by Leap Strike.
Yeah.
So, really good positioning from CJ Blaze.
Stop the recall there. That really was the fight that CJ was looking for, too. I mean, we can tell they are prepared for that Draven pick, and the thing is if you let Draven go through for the KT arrows, you need to be prepared here. Cacao, getting a bit caught. There's a QE combo from Lulu. Cacao makes it out, though.
Yeah, they decide not to go in. Flame just a little bit too close right there.
Yeah.
So, CJ Blaze with a good lead, and you know what? It hasn't been the cleanest game, Doa, but it is refreshing to see Blaze play so aggressively early on, to use those early teleports, even if it's going to be a little bit of a bloody trading team fight, just to continue to grind it out and use the Jinx for split pushing and getting more aggressive on these early towers. Well, this is looking much more like the Blaze that we saw earlier in the season.
Well, the thing is they know what we were talking about. Not that they care about what we're talking about, but they're aware of the same things that we are, and that they do kind of have one style. They do kind of need to diversify a little bit. You can't put all your eggs in one basket, and so far, the eggs are looking very diverse for CJ Blaze. That was a strange analogy, but Easter.
I value diversity in my eggs, though.
I guess so. You need.
I get so frustrated
ones.
when there's just big brown eggs in my egg carton. Sometimes I need little white ones as well.
Sometimes I go to the 24-hour mart after the cast and I buy pickled bird eggs because they have those in Korea. They're pretty good.
As opposed to pickled lizard eggs.
Well, I mean, I know that the chicken is a bird, man, but I'm just saying chicken eggs are the standard egg, right? And so if you want to talk about a different kind of bird egg, you have to okay, I don't know, man. It's like it's small eggs, little bird eggs. I don't know what kind of bird they come from. You are so hard to cast with. Jeez.
I was just wondering what other kind of eggs they sold at your convenience store, though.
Maybe I have no idea. I eat them and they're delicious. Maybe I will try to hatch one, get a dragon or 3, and become Call Doa.
You should do that. I'd be really into that.
And then someday I will take my army across the narrow sea and kick you right off of that chair, man. No more Iron Throne for you.
Well, this looks much more classic. Ambition and Flame pushing these empty lanes, but Ambition, now even without that that Lichbane, able to take down a turret. Now here's the play call. Are they going to go for this Baron?
No.
I don't think that Renekton's tanky enough yet. Someday opted to go for the Tiamat first.
Well, there's still a ward there, too. In fact, there's multiple wards, and they are going for this Baron. CJ collapses immediately. Oh, this could get messy. This will get messy. Baron a bit low. Here comes Flame, gets knocked in. There's the Flay immediately. Emperor coming from the outside, and KT groups up. Very good. Can they chase Baron? At about he regened up to about 2/3 health now. Ambition zoning with Glitterlance. He's out about half health himself. Needs to be careful in that MR shred that KT is taking right now. There's the flash death sentence. Doesn't get KT anything.
Yeah, KT thought they would have an edge just because they still had Shockwave up, and pretty much all the ults on the enemy team were down except for the Dragon's Rage. Flame putting on some pressure in the mid lane, though. He knows they're chunked out enough.
Might as well.
Blaze just looking very decisive today.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, they are looking like that veteran team compared to the, slightly more rookie team for the KT Arrows, and it's showing. Another turret goes down, and CJ Blaze really starting to get some serious map control in this game. Just look at the wards. There's not very many for the KT Arrows out there right now.
Oh, they were all killed or expired around this time.
Exactly.
They'll go back and pick up some more soon enough, but they may just be trying to go for this again. Now, the thing about Jax is a lot of times we see Blade Jax into a tanky item, and they are 3-manning it.
Yes, they are. They're trying it. Well, now a 4-man, and CJ Blaze trying to collapse yet again. Jax does have teleport available. Can Someday stop him from using it? Doesn't look like it. Flame coming in from the outside, but there's a teleport for Someday to chase as well. Cacao gets jumped on immediately. They flay Flame in after the Wild Growth gets a knock-up. Baron gets taken by KT, but can they get out? Cacao so low. Solar Flare locks up Rookie, and he's going to get evaporated. So will Hachani. A double kill for Ambition. 3 kills already. Arrow, the only one making it out with that Baron buff. I think CJ can feel pretty happy about this because they could easily get an inhibitor turret out of this one, I think.
Well, they collapsed on Sunday right after his teleport, so the tankiness just wasn't there for them, and Flame delayed it long enough that they were able to take a team fight win. They are mercilessly pushing down towers.
They're going to get multiple towers out of this one.
Great play coming in.
Oh, whoa. Now be careful of that Draven ultimate. And they'll get the inhibitor as well. Ouch. Oh, man.
Yeah, very nice play from Ambition just to go ahead and take this top turret as well. Probably it was going to be better for him to build Lichbane this game, just given how things have played out.
Yeah.
Flame really dedicated to the split-pushing Jax build. Of course, he doesn't have to build his tanky when he has a Lulu in the mid lane to provide him some of those defensive stats with Wild Growth.
It's hard to anticipate because it looks like, they've done such a good job team fighting with this Lulu. That had to kind of be the plan coming into it.
Yeah, even with this Baron, the turret lead and dragon lead now for CJ Blaze has proved overwhelming in terms of gold total. They're also up in CS in both mid and bottom lane because Emperor has just been split pushing by himself the entire time, which is really rare to see for CJ Blaze, that they would give Emperor a lane to push by himself when Ambition and Flame have traditionally demanded all of the available farm.
Yeah. Well, it's just
But Flame, look at this. He's behind on CS, and it's not that he hasn't been CSing well, it's just he's been constantly in the enemy team's face, constantly using that teleport to play aggressively, and this is really refreshing to see from Flame.
He's gone to the shy school of playing Jax, it looks like. It's a good school to go to if you want to play Jax.
It certainly is.
Well, KT Arrows, I mean, certainly not getting crushed this game, but really have been on the back foot pretty much the entire time. We'll see. I feel like this still could be a very close best of 5, and it probably will be, but CJ Blaze really kind of flexing those veteran muscles in game 1 and switching things up a little bit.
This game has been a bit of a brawl. I mean, they've really been slugging it out, trading hit for hit, and it's been really fun to watch. But, this is the kind of game that the KT Arrows want to play, but Blaze really showing that they can not only hang with them, but take a commanding lead in this scenario, not just buckling to early aggression like Blaze usually does.
I feel like KT needed to get more done in the laning phase. They needed to get more action early on for those fights.
They were
didn't happen.
they were really heavily out-rotated by CJ Blaze this game. They didn't have the right responses to the wave pressure at the right timings, and a lot of that has been Cacao, actually, and Rookie not rotating fast enough, not following Ambition has been another part of it. And this is the kind of play that really comes for a veteran team, but they need to be careful in the next match.
Well, Flame's going in onto Someday. Someday needs to be careful here. Flame taking a lot of turret hits before finally leap striking out. Doing a lot of damage to that inhibitor turret. Hachani really wants to hit a death sentence here, and he won't. Yeah, Ambition just poking a little bit more, and KT does have pretty good wave clear, but eventually CJ should be able to just kind of bull rush their way through this.
Well, the thing about CJ, though, is with the Lulu with Lich Bane, they just have a fantastic 4-1 split push. Of course, Jinx with the 700 range. They really need very small windows of opportunity in order to push down these towers.
Oh yeah, they can just poke it down, and each little poke does quite a bit.
Jack's the same way with the Trinity Force.
Yep, very true. And speaking of Jax, there's Flame pushing up the bot lane right now, just keeping pressure on all 3 lanes. Baron up, or Dragon rather, up in about a minute and a half, but that's not a big deal. Baron's going to be a little bit longer before he returns. Daydream doesn't land the Q, so no engage there.
I really like what Ambition is doing, just using his whimsy to push in the mid lane, make sure those super creeps cause a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Applying pressure across, just finding the hits where he can, and now they're starting to really get them. There's a
wild growth. Yeah, Flame giving an opportunity for Someday. Someday tries to get in on the Lantern, but Flame blocking it. Flame going crazy here, man. He has to flash to get out. A little bit too overambitious there.
Oh, they're going to get the tower.
Well, they will get that, looks like. Well, maybe not quite yet. Well, Lulu gets the bot lane tower at least.
Yep. Just a little bit at a time right there. Inhibitor back up, however, and we may see Blaze just take their money and run right now, clear out the enemy jungle where they can.
They should have a good amount to spend at the moment, and why not regroup? All the lanes are pushing.
That was a really good.
What they'll do.
That was a really good split push by CJ Blaze.
Yeah,
very, very well timed. I love how Ambition was just looking around the perimeter, pushing in the mid lane, and pretty much causing KT Arrow's rotations to be a little bit late, and being sneaky enough and unpredictable enough and fast enough with that whimsy to make a play and get a turret out of that. And that's really been the story here, is that CJ Blaze is just a little bit faster with their rotations, and Arrow's not able to match the pressure.
Yep. And so, will the Arrows be able to make any sort of comeback? I feel like they would need to get a few pretty lucky team fights, and that does not seem feasible at this point.
Jax right now just totally stacked. This is
maybe a good Dragon, or a Baron fight rather.
The late game Jax that you absolutely are terrified by, because now he's got those tanky items. He's got the armor and MR that only makes Wild Growth more effective in terms of his effective HP with those resists. So it's going to be really difficult to kill him from this point forward.
Well, that's the idea. Ambition starting off that red buff. Going to give that one over. Of course.
Arrow going for the Trinity Force build, but his build is much more effective in terms of 1v1 dueling than it is in team fighting, really. Of course, he gets a little bit more team fight mobility from the Trinity Force, but...
yeah, well, the Phage will help him a little bit.
The Phage and the Zeal will help him, of course, but that's really just to chunk people in a one-on-one very quickly.
Yep. Still has a lot of damage on that Draven. You know, there are 2 Randuins on both sides as well, too.
KT Arrows just didn't play the split push as well as they could have this game, and the Jax pick makes it very difficult for Draven to split against Jax simply because of that counter-strike. Jax can get in on you and kill you so very quickly with counter-strike, leap strike, and Blade of the Ruined King.
Yep. And so I guess in the question about whose light source is stronger, it's going to be Jax's Lamppost winning over Thresh's Lantern in Game 1.
It does make it hard for a Dark Passage to be used. Oh,
it's true. Oh, here we go. Cacao comes on to Lustboy. Lustboy has to back off in a hurry. He's in trouble. Someday trying to close there. Arrow gets the kill onto Lustboy actually with the ultimate. Someday gets caught though. They trade 1-for-1. A kill for Flame. Oh, the shockwave does get dodged. Emperor was able to flash away from it. Now CJ chasing. Nice death sentence from Hachani and a flash as well. Was he able to save them? No! Flame coming in. There's the repel, but I think that's going to be a dead Cacao when he comes down. Or he takes out the Dark Passage and makes it. Wow, I can't believe they made it out. They're going to lose turrets, but a pretty crazy escape from KT, but I think that's going to be pretty much the end of it either way.
Blaze just really played a split push beautifully this game.
Yep.
You have to hand it to them. This was such a fantastic use of both a 4-1 and a 1-3-1 split.
Yeah, and just the way they were able to kind of modify things as the match went on. This is definitely a team that's looking decisive, but also showing more flexibility than we're used to.
And
too.
more aggression. They didn't just sit there and wait for the KT Arrows to go into their own jungle and murder them like they did to SK Telecom T1K. Now they're going to go for a Baron. Desperation Baron for the KT Arrows.
You got to do it. There's the teleport coming in.
Onto the Lantern.
Yep, from Someday. Lost Boy coming in. There's the Solar Flare onto the back lines, and Jack's coming in over the top. The Wild Growth as well. They do manage to get Baron. Cacao steals it, but everybody else is going to die. Oh, man, Emperor is excited now. Quadra, can he get the Penta? He will! Pentakill for Emperor! And he will dominate the rest of this game, man. Palpatine move over. There's a new Emperor in town.
Wow, well, I mean, pretty typical, Jinx Pentakill right there, just cleaning up with the passive.
Yep.
Everybody going down in the Baron pit. Very dangerous to be in there this late in the game when Jinx can just get those AoE crits, and that'll be
it. That is it. And CJ Blaze comes back with probably the best game of the season, and it's a win versus the KT Arrows in Game 1.
Well,
GG.
If CJ Blaze needed to turn it on and find that early game that they had been losing over time, tonight's a great time to do it.
It's a good time to do it, yeah.